you may have seen the story. Macca was talking about this in the news, that the Ministry of Defence have released their secret X-Files with all of their UFO sightings and all of this. So let's talk to Tony Topping this morning, who runs etlife.co.uk. He is a UFO expert. Morning, Tony.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for letting me come on the programme, Chris.
So, obviously we had these documents released yesterday, and we started seeing some of the news stories coming out about them. What can we expect to find in these Ministry of Defence files?
Well, I think you're going to find everything from somebody who I understand spotted a UFO, but it turned out to be a party hat, to the Rendlesham Forest incident, which is in itself absolutely amazing. That UFO incident in itself, which happened at the Brent Waters RAF base in about 1982, and oddly enough, there was a further UFO incident at that base in 1951, which isn't probably as public as that. I think about 1951, 1940. There was also a UFO incident at the same base, if I'm correct. Yeah, so these are the things to look out for. And the lives, I think if you look at the Rendlesham Forest incident, it's the lives of the men who've been affected by the incident that is most interesting to me.
And is this, because everyone always kind of associates UFOs with aliens, is that always the case?
No, not necessarily so. I mean, your listeners might like to know that the MOD, as part of an ongoing disclosure campaign, the MOD released a document called Project Condign, which was they spent a lot of money on doing this research. Project Condign was to try and find out what was the cause of UFOs, and they put it down to plasma, that plasma could actually cause these effects. This is at odds with the head of the Belgian Air Force, for example, who would indicate after his aircraft in the Belgium Triangle incident of 1990 was chasing a craft that was going beyond anything his military craft could keep up with, and indicated that they were under intelligent control by something not of this earth. So you've always got this contradiction going on, probably hence the ironic name Project Condign.
Now, there was one story that I noticed is about this abduction, and these guys were saying, well, it was this skinny creature with a lemon-shaped head that abducted us. And that kind of story, when you read that, you kind of think it's kind of absurd, and that's no way real.
It is absurd, and possibly is nowhere real. The thing is, though, is that there are reports of technology being deployed called mind control or non-evasive weapons technology experimentation, and there is a school of thinking that this developed unacknowledged black technology could be responsible for placing these ideas and thoughts into people's minds. There is a school of thinking that promotes the fear-based kind of platform towards UFOs, and there's a school of thinking that promotes a more peaceful base, and always the two seem to contradict each other. But you've got to do the research very carefully indeed. You will find there's people who have been truly shocked by abduction experiences with UFOs.
Now tell me about some of your UFO experiences.
Well, I mean, uniquely on my YouTube site, I've got a little, I direct people, I've got a YouTube site called Tony Ops UFO, and on that is a little interview I did I'm always on the TV and radio commenting on UFOs, and I did this thing for a little Canadian radio station, and it was just a 4-minute thing to do with an incident that happened on the River Route with 2 RAF jets and myself, resulting in a blinding flash of light in a farmer's field, the jets in pursuit of the object, and when I look up, there's one of these aircraft flying side by side with one of these UFOs, and kind of like wondering if I could ever meet the pilots who were involved in that incident. But this is part of over a 12-year period of ongoing UFO incidents that have happened to myself.
Now, locally here in Bath, there was a sighting back in January of this year, and 2 orange balls of light were seen at about 9:55 at night, and these lights came from the Twerton area of Bath, headed over Locksbrook Cemetery towards Lansdowne, and it wasn't on any flight path, according to the person who witnessed this, and there were no flashing lights. It was just these orange balls of lights that didn't make any noise. Now, to me, that may sound like a Chinese lantern or things like that. Are lots of these UFO sightings easily explainable?
A lot of them are easily explainable, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them that can be classed as classified secret craft. A lot of them can be classed as the unmanned aerial vehicles that are currently doing the rounds at the moment. But there's a percentage that cannot be explained, and that is the percentage that causes government's interest despite official denial. And that this is the thing that happens there, especially when you've got these craft coming into our airspace or whatever. If you look at various witnesses who worked in the Federal Aviation Authority in America, they've got all kinds of stories to tell about these incidents happening. So there's a small percentage, a very interesting one as well, that would indicate that these UFOs are indeed real.
Now the thing is, from what I gather so far from these documents and stuff, is that all the sightings seem to, go up during the 90s when X-Files was on TV. So are people kind of not really seeing UFOs, they just want to see them?
I think you'll be surprised to know, Chris, that people are having interactions with UFOs probably and are keeping very quiet about it. I think you'll also find, just changing it slightly, that there is a very concerning, secret, unelected UFO police out there, and you may think I'm having a laugh with you, but I'm not. It's very serious. That causes great concern to certain people like myself with their activities. There seems to be a strict and mysterious rule of enforcement with people who are interacting with UFOs for agendas we know not, and that is a very real situation that is currently still ongoing in the US and the UK. You'll probably find that admirals and generals of high ranking may not be allowed to access any of this information to do with UFOs, regardless of their rank or level of security clearance.
Tony, thank you very much for speaking to me this morning. Appreciate that. Tony, the UFO expert who runs etlive.co.uk. It is 8:15, and this, I think, is a brilliant song.